All right, so we can officially say that the market is heating up and a lot of people are getting excited. And I do believe that we don't have much time until the big moves in this space begin. Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Now, I am going to be outlining a ton of information in this video, but also giving you guys an update from Raoul regarding the banana zone and what's happening and why you have a very, very limited time. Listen, the market was very boring since March up until September. And this is why you take those boring phases in this market as an opportunity, not for granted, because those times do go by fast. And right now, as we do really kind of look at the market, it is heating up in a large way. Even if we look at the last 7-day percentages here in the altcoin market, a lot of them are up, 10, 20, 30%. And we're not even talking about the top 500. Top 500, there's a lot of altcoins in the last 7 days that are up 100% plus. Now, as we do really kind of look at this, are we yet in alt season? No, we are not. Bitcoin dominance is still well over 50%, but we are preparing for it. And I do think that if you do hold any altcoins, it doesn't matter if you're holding XRP, it doesn't matter if you're holding Shiba Inu, you need to buckle up right now and prepare, because I don't think we have a lot of time left until the fireworks officially start going off. Now let's actually talk about that. Let's start with the Fed decision. So everyone is aware now that back on the 18th, we did get the big breaking news event from the Fed that they have cut interest rates by 50 basis points in their first rate cut since March of 2020. It was the most surprising Fed decision since 2009. Now, with this in mind, everyone is prepared for another rate cut in November. Here we have November 7th. This is the current market expectations as of September 19th. November 7th, 25 BPS cut. December 18th, 50 BPS. So by the end of this year, we'll already be at 75 BPS. If we're accounting for, the September cut as well, we're well over 1.25 BPS, which is crazy to think about. But that's exactly what a melt up is built off of, is aggressive rate cuts from the Fed, allowing for more printing, allowing for the M2 money supply to go absolutely crazy, supporting risk on assets, which we will talk about. Now, outside of December, we also have 2025, January, March, and May, all 25 BPS. Now, I told you guys that by quarter one of 2025, I think that the markets are going to start cooling off and starting to melt down instead of melting up. Now, I could be wrong on that. Don't take my word for it, but that's what I'm prepared for. Again, this is after elections. This is after all the, big hype. So we'll definitely have to watch, wait, and see. Again, I don't like to time the top. I like to look at the chart and really kind of address what the chart is telling us, if it is oversold, overbought, etc. Also, I like to gauge sentiment in the market. If everyone is getting euphoric and talking about, massive price action and this and that, whatever, and they're, throwing out $500,000 Bitcoin predictions, that's typically the time that you want to kind of risk yourself out of the market, because we'll probably end up selling off. But also, the number one thing to focus on is taking profits to the top. Don't wait for a specific target. If you are seeing life-changing wealth in front of you, there is no reason to keep holding on to it, thinking that it's going to go much, much higher. But outside of this, we also have over here from Raoul. Now, I do have a video from his YouTube channel that I'm going to play as well, but here we have a bit of shade being thrown about the banana zone. Let me clarify. Now, he is showing us the GMI, which is the total liquidity index, and here we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And when we actually look at this, right, this is liquidity improving. And if we go all the way back to 2019 into 2020 and compare it to 2023 into 2024, we have yet to have that massive melt up. And we're waiting for that. Now, one thing that I want you all to understand here is look at 2025 and compare it to 2021. That was when the top happened. I expect this to top early 2025. Everyone's still betting on the end of 2025, and that's totally okay. If people want to wait until that, that's fine. I don't care to, give out a full-on exit plan for everyone here. Everyone has their own. But when we think about what's happening here, yes, liquidity is improving. And it's improving in a significant way because as we do see the Fed cutting rates, it allows for more money printing to happen. And if we actually look a little bit more into this, we have a few breakdowns around the total liquidity index with the NASDAQ and even Bitcoin. And if we go back to 2021 and around 2020, we could see the total liquidity index surging around 2020, supporting Bitcoin's higher price action. Now, so far, we haven't really seen the GMI, aka total liquidity index, surge yet. And we're just waiting for it to surge while Bitcoin is still kind of sitting a little bit stagnant. I know it's right now sitting at about almost $66,000. But once we do start to see the liquidity improving, that's going to support Bitcoin surging to the upside as well. And I do expect Bitcoin to break to about roughly $80,000 to $100,000, probably goes over 100K depending on how much liquidity does improve. The S&P 500 is already, killing it. Also, the NASDAQ is doing very well. I'm going to be talking about stocks here in a second as well. But I want to address a few things down here in terms of the banana zones. Now, back to the banana zone in macro, summer, and fall. Tech does really well and has its own mini banana zone, with fall being the most pronounced. And we already know that crypto has outperformed tech. So this is going to be very good for crypto. It's more pronounced in crypto than tech. Down here, they do talk about the transition to macro summer, where we do start to see liquidity growth happening as well, with the tendency to have, Bitcoin expand rapidly, like typically back in 2011, 2012, 2014, 2016, 2019, and 2020. And then, of course, here we are in 2022 and 2024. Now, that initial stage of the upward swing, aka that 2022 price action, is very similar to 2019, 2014, and also 2011. And we know what happens next, right? Bitcoin surges to the upside. Now, this time around, I'm not expecting $300,000 like some of these people are saying. I'm more so expecting, like I said, 100,000, 150K at the most. But I do believe that it is going to be a significant move in the market for Bitcoin. And then if we think about Altseason, when Bitcoin dominance does start to break down and Bitcoin surges to the upside, this could be the last massive Altseason and crypto bull run that is unregulated. So don't mess this up and don't sit on the sidelines. Over here, we have from Raoul's YouTube channel. Listen closely to this.
When it comes to this kind of stuff. So just to show why it matters, this is the banana zone. I posted this on Twitter. Global M2, 10-week lead over Bitcoin. Do you need anything better than that? Oh, wait, I can give you something better than that. I can give you the GMI total liquidity, which is both private sector and state sector liquidity versus Bitcoin. It says the banana zone is here. That's the only thing I can think of, is that everything I look at says the banana zone is here. Bitcoin seasonality, election years, October, up only. Right? And these are big moves. Same in the Russell 2000. I'm not going to go through all of Julian's charts because that's unfair, and we're going to.
Now, I'm going to pause this real quick 1 second, because did you hear what he just said? Typically during election years, it's up only. It's up only around liquidity, around Bitcoin, around, stocks. Yes, election year, they prop the markets up heavily. So if we think about that, right, October, guys, we're only a couple of days away from October. So we only have roughly 72 hours until we start to see the swing in the market, if we are taking, word from Raoul here.
Do it to the Real Vision RVIP group tomorrow. We've got an AMA there where we're going to really dig in to some of our stuff. Here's Bitcoin last year versus this year. I mean, really? And this is La La Land ETH last year versus this year. So, and by the way, that's the straightforward Bitcoin pattern. I mean, everything I look at, every single thing shouts the banana zone. Now, I'm wearing my banana zone t-shirt because I think it's coming. I think it's coming in days or maybe a week. And before I said, well, maybe it's next month, maybe it's the month after, maybe it's this week, I don't know. I'm like, no. Julian and I in Global Macro Investor, which is the flagship research service. And if you haven't checked it out, go to globalmacroinvestor.com, have a look, see what we do from there. That's where we do the deep work. I think we do more macro crypto work than anybody else in the world. And I think our macro work is the best in the world as well. And we've done thousands of hours on this. And I know it sounds hubristic, but I honestly give this banana zone an 80-something% chance of happening almost immediately. Give it 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. And I know that sticking my neck out and wearing my banana zone t-shirt, I'm trying not to jinx the thing. But, as I've talked about, all of our hopes and dreams are in this. Mine too. Real Vision as a business. Almost everybody I speak to, I've been on the phone with a few, billionaire GMI subscribers, friends of mine. Everybody wants this to happen. Everyone needs this to happen because people are invested. Now, technology, there's a bunch of other ways of skinning this cat. But really, people have been like this with high interest rates, a slow business cycle where ISM has been bumping along. And I know people like a lot of, people on Twitter are like, oh, my God, the markets are all-time high. What's everybody complaining about? Speak to real people when their mortgages are like that, their interest payments are like that, their credit card bills are like that. Speak to corporations who are trying to borrow money that aren't kind of, AAA rated tech companies that have no debt. All of this stuff. It has been very, very difficult for a while. Rates have been the highest they have for a very long time. The rate of change of interest rates was enormous. Inflation is now wildly below interest rates. So real rates are ridiculously restrictive. And people feel it. People are not happy. People don't have personal expenditure abilities to do what they want. But it's coming. It's coming. The business cycle's changing. So all of you who run businesses, all of you who see the sluggishness of the cycle and wonder why the equity market's going to all-time highs and your business isn't yet, it's all going to come. Things are going to improve dramatically. The equity market's driven by liquidity. Your earnings, yours and mine, are driven by the business cycle. And that is just about to pick up. So cheers. Here's to a much, much better 18 months ahead.
So I'm going to stop it there because after this, he does go on a little bit more of a rant around Bitcoin. But the main thing to focus on here is the banana zone, the market's improving with rate cuts, liquidity improving, and then, of course, the market's exploding. Now, if we think about this, right, this is the total for crypto. Now, I'm going to give you guys my cheat sheet that I posted in the Discord. This is for premium members only, but I'm going to give you guys this cheat sheet that I've been really kind of following. And ultimately, this was the pattern, right? We have this nice high back here. We have a lower high. We have a lower high, a lower high. And this was a question. Are we going to just create a lower high here? And are we going to break this previous low and create a lower low somewhere down here, aka a bearish structure? Well, guess what? We broke over this high and now we created a higher high on this chart. This is actually very, very bullish because now we have a higher high on this chart. We can create a higher low. If we are going to sell off maybe somewhere around here, this would be the ideal target. We hold the uptrend that we have been forming since going back to the beginning of August. It would look something like this, where we kind of just range here and then we surge back to the upside, breaking over this high over here from roughly July, continuing to surge higher and ultimately targeting those March highs. But we were following this for a little bit of time. And the big thing that actually allowed for this to officially put in its bottom and create a higher high on this chart was the improvement of the markets, liquidity flowing back in. And also the number one thing that I want to share with you guys is the liquidity on the bottom of this chart. This is an indicator that I have been following, which is liquidity. This is the US dollar market liquidity. And if we actually look all the way back in 2020 into 2021, guys, most of this liquidity started to improve around November into December. Okay. But ultimately, September and October, we started to see a very significant surge in the markets. Look at this. The end of September printed the bottom on the total. From that point on, the total in crypto, aka crypto's total market cap, went absolutely parabolic starting in October. If we're talking about that from here, I do believe that the next stop is 3.23 trillion. And our official top for the market should be around 5 to 7 trillion. That is my overall target here. And we could already start to see, liquidity ranging sideways a little bit, waiting for that big surge to the upside. Very similar to what we saw back in 2023 as well. And again, I want to share with you guys the fact that we started to range in the first week or so, almost first 2 weeks of October back in 2023. But October was the month to focus on for the entire, crypto market. And I want to give you guys a little bit of a cheat sheet here. The global money supply growth is slowly rising. An increase in the global M2 money supply is positive because it signals that money printers are coming. First, lower interest rates, which we are getting. Second, more liquidity, which we are getting. This means more risk appetite around crypto, stocks, you name it. This is where we really kind of look at money market funds that have 6 trillion plus in them. That's parked on the sidelines, waiting for a recession. It's sideline cash that could ultimately buy in this market on the upward move because they're FOMOing in and it pushes us even higher. Riskier assets and crypto markets rise. There's your bull run. And yes, it is the perfect storm. AKA, this supports the banana zone. This supports the market going significantly higher. It supports alt season officially beginning as well. Guys, do not overlook October, aka Uptober, being one of the most significant months for crypto historically, going off of every single pattern in the past, going all the way back to 2020, going back to all the previous cycles as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.